All right, today we're jumping into one of the most exciting and frankly complicated frontiers out there, AI in medicine, the ghost in the machine. So let's get right into it and see what the future of our health might actually look like. So let's just start with a big one, right? Could a computer actually be a better doctor than a person? I mean, is it a tool, a partner, or is it eventually going to replace doctors altogether? To even begin to answer that, you first have to understand the massive problem AI is being brought in to solve. And it all starts with this one massive problem, which is also its biggest opportunity, and that's data. I mean, just try to picture it. Every single day, our healthcare system creates this absolute tidal wave of information. We're talking lab results, super complex images, doctor's notes, genetic sequences. It's a flood. It is way too much for any single human brain or even a whole team of them to really process effectively. The life-saving signals are literally buried in all of that noise. Okay, so how in the world do you find anything useful in all that chaos? Well, you need a map, a process. In the field, they call it the data mining workflow. It's basically a step-by-step plan for turning all that raw data into actual answers. But when the data is this huge and messy, you need a totally new kind of tool to do the analysis. And this is where the story gets really interesting. We've got this epic data problem, and the solution? Well, it's a revolutionary new way for computers to think. And that new tool? It's machine learning. Now, instead of a programmer sitting down and writing out every single rule for the computer to follow, we do something different. We just feed the computer a ton of data and let it figure out the rules for itself. It's a really fundamental change in how we think about building smart systems. And this slide really nails the difference. Think about it this way. Traditional programming is like giving a chef a very specific, step-by-step recipe. But with machine learning, it's more like you give the chef the ingredients and a picture of the final dish, and they have to figure out the recipe on their own. The computer is learning the how all by itself. Okay, so when we say a model learns, what does that actually mean? It's not magic, it's a really disciplined, three-step dance. First, you train it. You let it study a massive data set. Then, you validate it. You check its work on a different set of data to kind of tweak and tune it. And finally, the moment of truth. You test it on data it has never, ever seen before. That's how you know if it can actually do the job in the real world. Now, a huge reason all of this has exploded recently is because of a breakthrough called the transformer architecture. Don't worry about all the labels on this crazy diagram. The big idea is what matters. Before this, AI models had to read data, like the words in a sentence, one at a time in order. The transformer let them look at all the data at once, in parallel. It's like going from reading a book one word at a time to being able to absorb the entire page in a single glance. It was a massive leap, and it's what makes today's powerful AI possible. Okay, but all this incredible power, it comes with a pretty serious catch. These models are so complicated that a lot of the time, we don't really know how they're making their decisions. And that catch is what people call the black box problem. We see the information that goes in, and we see the answer that comes out. But the logic in the middle, it's a mystery. And when you're talking about medicine, when lives are on the line, you can't just trust the answer. You have to understand the reasoning. And these examples, they show you exactly why this is so critical. These are real. There was an AI that got great at spotting enemy tanks. Turns out, it wasn't even looking at the tanks. It just learned that all the pictures of enemy tanks were taken on cloudy days. Or this one, this is wild. A medical AI concluded that having asthma made you less likely to die from pneumonia. Why? Because patients with asthma were immediately sent for more aggressive care. The AI wasn't learning about the disease, it was learning a quirk in the hospital's process. The point is, if you don't understand the why, you can't trust the what. So that's the black box. But it's connected to another huge hurdle, the data itself. You've heard it before, garbage in, garbage out. It's never been more true. So a really common issue, especially in medicine, is something called class imbalance. Think about it. Most people are healthy, right? Most medical scans are normal. A rare disease is, well, rare. So the AI might see millions of normal examples for every single case of the rare disease it's supposed to be looking for, making it incredibly hard for it to learn. And this leads to a really sneaky trap called the accuracy paradox. Let's say you have 100 scans and just one has a rare tumor. A lazy AI could just guess normal for every single scan. And guess what? It would be 99% accurate. Sounds amazing, right? Except it's completely useless because it missed the one and only case that actually mattered. It shows you why just chasing a high accuracy number can be so dangerous. All right, so we've got the black box problem, we've got the data dilemma. The last piece of this whole puzzle, it's us, the humans. How do we actually interact with these incredibly powerful but also flawed new tools? There's this thing that happens to all of us. It's called automation bias. It's that feeling where you just kind of assume the computer's right, You stop thinking critically. We do it with GPS all the time. But when a doctor does it with a diagnostic tool, the stakes are so much higher. And this isn't just theory. Check out this real-world story. A project spent 10 years and $28 million building an amazing AI to help doctors read EKGs in the ER. And technically, the AI was great, but in the real world, it didn't save the doctors a single second. It just wasn't designed in a way that fit into their chaotic workflow. The technology was a success, but the human-centered design was a failure. Which brings us to a totally new skill that's becoming absolutely essential for pretty much everyone: prompt engineering. It's the art of talking to the machine, of crafting the perfect question to get the most useful answer. So for instance, if you just say to an AI, write about heart health, what are you going to get? Probably some generic, boring, totally unhelpful article you could find anywhere online. But now, look at this. This is a game changer. You use a technique called role prompting. You tell the AI who to be. Act as a cardiologist. You give it a specific audience and a specific goal. You're not just asking a question, you're giving it a job. And the result is something that's dramatically more useful. Learning how to have a good conversation with AI is becoming a critical skill. So that brings us all the way back to where we started. The future probably isn't AI replacing doctors. It's more likely that the doctors who learn how to use AI are going to replace the ones who don't. It's about creating a new kind of partnership where a human expert can use these tools to see things they never could have seen alone. The real question is, how do we get everyone ready for that future? Are we?